India is on the cusp of a solar revolution. The country has set an ambitious renewable energy target of 175 gigawatt by 2022, including 100 gigawatt of solar power. Of that, the government aims for 60 gigawatt to be utility scale solar and the rest 40 gigawatt to be rooftop solar. The country's solar installed capacity has around 40 gigawatt as of 31st March this year. Rooftop solar, the cheapest source of power, be it residential or commercial buildings. Rooftop solar installations can help in cutting down electricity bills significantly. Also, power intensive industries such as automobiles, railways, airports, heavy engineering, pharmaceutical, data center, manufacturing, and textiles, with the electricity cost making up a significant portion of their operating costs, and are operating rooftop solar. In India, commercial and industrial, that is called C&I units, consume about 70% of the installed solar rooftop or distributed generation capacity. However, despite having tremendous advantages, India's cumulative installed rooftop solar capacity stood at only around 6.79 gigawatt as of 31st of December 2020, a far away from the target of 40 gigawatt by 2022. Today, in this episode of Development Debate on why rooftop solar is not signing, we will try to identify the reasons for this huge shortfall. Joining me in this debate are Mr. Rajendra Kaur, Chairman and Managing Director of Bajan Associates Private Limited, Dr. Satyendra Kumar, Chairman and CTO, Shaurya Inatech, Dr. DN Singh, CEO, Bajan Associates Private Limited, and Mr. Suhas Pansare, Vice President, Reliance Solar Private Limited. Why India is shying away from adopting rooftop solar? So could you start with Mr. Rajendra Kumar Kaur, sir?
Very good question. That why only almost 7 gigawatt out of 40 gigawatt is on the rooftop and out of the 100 gigawatt. So this means you are not even getting 7% of the total target up to 2022 if you wanted to have it. I am a eyewitness and ear witness what has happened in Germany when in 2000 they started this program. And you will be surprised that 80% of installation out of the 50 gigawatt plus, now it has crossed 60 gigawatt in Germany, the 80% is on rooftops. So why a German as a country, they could put it 80% and we are only at 7%. So in any type of the project or in any type of business, there are three components. One is the policy, second is the technology, and third is the finance. So if I try to analyze the policy which the Germans did and which we couldn't do, the government of India should have studied all around the world that what are the best practices and what we should adopt. As soon as the solar mission in 2010 was launched, the very first thing was decided that 50% will go to electricity as PV and 50% on thermal PV. So without studying, without doing anything, and there were the projects which were allocated even for solar thermal. And ultimately, there is a zero thermal, solar thermal production of electricity. Why? Because without thinking that if you are putting even tower technology or other technologies in the desert, who will produce the steam? Where is the water? And then there is a dust, and who will clean the panels? Germans made it on auto run. What is the meaning of auto run? Means that the stakeholders, the consumers who are using the electricity, they should be motivated to the extent that they themselves are running. Seen Germans putting modules in their car on the backside, putting the inverters and doing even the installations themselves, because the Germans made a policy that if you in this first year, in 2000, if you will put on your rooftop, you will be getting 47 euro cent against the 7 euro cent which the consumer is paying. So this means that you are 7 times almost getting the revenue if you generate electricity and put it into the grid. So that is known as feed-in tariff. That second year was 10% reduction in tariff. The next year was another 10% reduction. Like in 7 years, they had planned that it will become at par and when the net metering may start. What we did, we always do the reverse. Feeding means when child is small, you feed the child. And he needs the sport because it is in infancy. And even in our major on the land, the big solar parks, what the government did, they said, okay, go in for reverse bidding. So in reverse bidding, the people, they were fighting just to get it, and even in the tariff was crashed. So nobody went into economics. Whereas Germans, they had not the much ground, and ground is quite costly. They said we will do it on the rooftop, and for rooftop, they bring a feed-in tariff, which was very having a good incentive. So the first thing is that the policy have to be right. Second part is technology. In Germany, if you apply, if any person applies for rooftop, there is a load flow study is done by the Department of Electricity in Germany to see whether if the panels are put on the top of this house, will the electricity flow into the grid or not? And then they will tell that this is feasible or this is not feasible. Or they will adjust the voltage. The power will flow only from the higher voltage to the lower voltage. So on the technology side, we don't do anything. I have not even known that even a single state is using any software or their discoms are using it just to study that whether if the rooftop we are allowing, the electricity will go inside or it will not go inside the grid. Then the other part is the state of in the policy. When you make a policy, you have to also see the finance. In the technology, as I told you, they have no much technical bandwidth who are the decision makers. And third part is coming on the finances. Discom is always suffering from the shortage of the money. So what they have done, they have told the people, you will put up rooftop, you will get the net metering. Now you tell me, any person who has say 4 or 5 kilowatt is his requirement on the rooftop, he will have to spend 2-3 lakh rupees to put up on the rooftop. So in the age of 40 or 50 to 60, every citizen, he is under pressure in the spending money on the education of children or on the marriage of the children. Instead of giving the capital subsidy, if the government would have given a feed-in tariff, a better tariff, then that man might be interested to do that because then he is making money. What government should do or what policy should be that Discom should be made responsible, that they will put on the rooftop panels or this whole solar system will be put by the government of the government or Discom, or it may be a private Discom. So responsibility should be of the Discom. Why? Because then the Discom will be responsible also for the repair, maintenance and other things. Number two, the financial problem of the Discom will also be solved. Say first year, government should say this is a Discom and let the banks give even 100% loan to the Discom. So it is the bank money which is put, and in 5 to 7 years, this whole money will be paid back out of the generation of the electricity to the bank. And then this is the property of Discom. Discom can again go back to the bank that this is my property, please give me loan for another 5 years. So like this, they can take the loan 5 times.
Thank you so much, Mr. Kora, for explicitly talking about, highlighting the pain areas and the solutions, and also talking about, what we can learn from the countries like Germany. May I request Dr. Satyendra Kumar, Chairman and CTO of Saurya Innertech, to throw some light on this particular aspect on why India is shying away from adopting rooftop solar?
That a lot of such problems, maybe in the initial stage, government was very afraid that things may not move, and it has to be incentivized through subsidy and all, but somehow it has not worked. And the result is always, as you have already said, it's about close to 7 gigawatt. And out of that, about 72% is commercial and industrial. What is lacking is the residential part. Residential part is only close to about 16%. The rest is the government buildings or, public sector. About 12 to 13% is in the public sector. So if you look at these four sectors differently, and you see what is how the policy has evolved. First of all, if there is a developer, let's say, who can put in money, who can bring in technology, and who can also look at financing methodology for people, okay. He has to deal with now 25, 30 different laws, different rules in different states, different discoms. Even in Haryana, you would have 4 discoms, for example, or 3 discoms. So a big developer does not find it, for him, it is handling lots of things, lots of relationships, lots of management. And in the meantime, government went through changing their policies. First, they had that authorized dealer through you can get. I can just give you a few examples. One of my friend insisted that he wants to put a solar panel on his rooftop, 5 kilowatt. At the end of the day, we just put the 5 kilowatt, and we said, we don't want any subsidy. We don't want, please give a connection. And that getting that connection was very difficult, because they wanted us to go only through that authorized guy. So we took quotations from him, and whatever, we had to do something to do it. In my own home, I know how to put solar. I have made a place for about 10 kilowatt, and I have not yet put it. Same thing, because I have to go through the whole process. And these are instead of enabling, these are kind of being a hindrance. So in case of C&I, people are moving because the sizes are big. These people can do their Excel sheets. They know whether it is worthwhile or it is not worthwhile. So they are able to go through let's say, a series of developers which are, or EPC contractor, which are well known, and they're doing well. But when it comes to residential, there is a lot of hesitancy. And most of the hesitancy is coming because of the regulatory framework, because of the discoms. Though they say that NOC would not be given, or each discom has a different thing. Only thing I would say is that probably Karnataka was the most advanced, and maybe Mr. Panesar can talk about it also. And there they got probably one of the good, feedback from the people. So that is one thing. Second is, I think the important part is financing. And Kora Sahab has addressed that also and looked at why somebody should really spend. So instead of giving subsidies, if the financing is easily available, okay, and the only guarantee is the equipment, and like for an auto loan, it is so easy to get. In fact, these days with the artificial intelligence, and if I just even search on Google that I want to buy an auto, tomorrow the auto car would be standing on my door. Okay, I don't have to work hard. The financing is done by auto companies, and the the car is hypothecated. So the making financial easier is much better than any subsidies. Okay, because once the subsidy comes, a lot of other things comes. Regulatory framework, the time is just ripe. Technology is mature. There are not many risks. Financing also, the banks, Grameen banks, local banks, they understand solar. It is not like it was 10 years ago when you have to convince people. So this is the time when a little bit of policy twist can really take off the rooftop solar market.
Thank you so much, Dr. Satyendra Kumar, for talking about the right regulations as well as availability of finance, like finance available for real estate or any other segments, or even auto loan segment, what you mentioned about. If this can be made or this can be ensured, then definitely the sector can get a kind of right push what it is expecting today. Thank you so much for talking about those areas. So now may I request Mr. Suhas Pansare, Vice President of Reliance Solar Private Limited, to share his perspective on this particular aspect.
I believe that anything that is economical will always be adopted by consumers. A simple example is mobile phone. When mobile phones came into India, I know whopping prices of rupees 12 per minute talking time, which was just beyond purview of common people. Today, even when our maid servants, drivers and gardeners, everyone has adopted mobiles because it is economical. Can we say the same about solar and rooftop solar? I believe to fair extent, yes, that is true. So from the economics point of view, I don't see much of an hassle. But then why it is lacking? So the second parameter comes is the regulatory framework and the policies. I feel, and as we go more into the detail of this debate, things will emerge. But policy-related issues are one of the most deterrent for penetration of rooftop solar in India. The third aspect is it is economical, there are good policies. Is its execution and implementation easy? Again, the answer is yes and no. It is easy to execute a project, but for rooftop to be really powerful, net metering is one area or a powerful weapon in the hand of a consumer. And that's where the issues lie. We will again dwell into more detail of this one. Last parameter is electricity or power is into concurrent list. What does it mean? Central government has purview into power sector, and at the same time, state government also has its jurisdiction. Now, with more than 30 plus states having their own different policies, it has become a nightmare for EPC contractor like our companies to go to different states and try to execute solar rooftop projects with different policy frameworks. And then the same customer, I give you an example. It's a Tata conglomerate having presence in 6 different states. When we were executing project for them in these different states, the cost of installation and maybe when they were executing an OPEX model, the tariff that they were getting was totally different. And they couldn't understand. The same company is installing the project, the same capacities are there. And then why should there be so much difference? Why should there be different execution time in different states? So variety of policies in state, execution environment in state is also taking a lot of toll. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Suhas Pansare, for putting the things in perspective, that how, what sort of push the sector required to get into the next level of. Now, may I request Dr. D.N. Singh, CEO of Burgeon Associates Private Limited, to throw some light on this particular aspect of why India is shying away from adopting rooftop solar?
People get installed from anybody because now there is approved modules and models, AMML from MNRE, if those modules are approved. And finally, the grid connectivity provided by DISCOMs. And they take care of all the safeties, whether earthing is done properly or not, and wiring is properly or not. So why to make it so complicated? Give it through DISCOMs. So that is one point I wanted to make, that the whole delivery system of this subsidy, first of all, we have announced there is a subsidy. So every customer expects subsidy. And maybe perhaps these were long time back done. So what I will say, that Satyendra also said that, some other stakeholders like MNRE and other people should be brought in, DISCOMs should be brought in. The only other thing I would like to say that the metering concept itself, this net metering was allowed in certain states, in certain states it's not allowed, in certain states allowed only up to 5 kilowatt, certain states on industrial rooftops it is not allowed. So there is so much confusion. And there is some gross metering and then there's a net metering. I think it all should be simplified, and only the DISCOM should be made a growth engine for the rooftop, as per me. Even the financing which Mr. Kumar talked about should be routed through them, as he also said, through banking systems, and people should be given very easy finance through them. And they should take it, they should start charging they should start giving the discount to the customer for the net metering deficit only once their money is recovered. So these are the 2-3 things I wanted to say on the thing of rooftop installation policy and implementation. On implementation level, there is a lot of problem. So, and many of the EPC vendors, the smaller and even medium size, they don't want to go and get into the rigmarole of getting registers at this state authorities and all that, and then they do their business. So that is one big issue. Rather, also, I will suggest for futuristic that it should be generation based. Make it generation based. Let anybody install on their rooftop from wherever they raise their finances, and DISCOM knows which roof is generating how much, because whole the generation is going through them, being monitored through them. So whatever is generated, that should be incentivized. And if somebody compromises with the quality of on their rooftop installations, they will lose if they generate less.
So thank you, delegates, for attending. We hope you have learned and enjoyed this session. We thank the sponsor of this Mojo for Industry Development Debate, Bhajan Associates Private Limited. Please don't forget to subscribe our YouTube channel and press the bell icon. Also, to access industry news on the go, visit our website www.mojoforindustry.com. Goodbye.